Almonte's Key Food, proudly serving communities throughout Brooklyn, Queens, and Long Island for over 30 years. When you shop Key Food, you'll always find fresh products, great weekly specials, and exceptional personalized service. Visit at any of their Key Food stores at 8235 153rd Avenue, Lindenwood, New York, 935 Rosedale Road, Valley Stream, New York, and 6620 Avenue U, Brooklyn, New York.
In the squadron, they called him Bullets, but we call him Greg Kelly. Greg Kelly is on the air
on the Red Apple Podcast Network.
800-848-9222. 800-848-9222. I'm looking right now at the TV screen, and it looks like there is no deal yet. We have a tentative ceasefire, tenuous ceasefire. There's skirmishes here and there, but I'm content. I am content. I think it's under control. That's how I view things right now, under control. All that world stuff is under control. As for the stuff going on back here, it really is something to behold. It really is something to just, when you hear it and you think about where this country is and what we've been through, and that a man like this can succeed another maniac by the name of Gavin Newsom. It's Tom Steyer. He's a pervert. Tom Steyer is a billionaire. How did he make his money, by the way? Was it pharmaceuticals? I think it was like through mining and stuff like that. You know, he's like a copper magnate. He didn't make it by developing windmills. Right? He did it like just real, like a billionaires do, right? Something that is kind of rare and unique, but they become very, very good at it. And then they scale it, and then they make a hell of a lot of money. And then they, wait a second, appeals court says Trump transgender ban was illegal. Oh, give me a break. Appeals court says Trump transgender military ban was illegal. How in the hell have we come up with that? Let me look at this thing. In the meantime, on the transgender thing, which really is, I hate the word, but I'll use it, an existential threat to America, right? And America's children. This is Tom Steyer, the number one candidate right now for governor of California. I hate to say that, but it's true. I know Steve Hilton is doing a great job, and that Sheriff Blanco, whatever his name. I would love it if one of those guys won, but it's probably going to be Tom Steyer. And listen to this guy get his jollies by talking to a high school boy pretending to be a girl. Why would you congratulate the mother for creating this beast? Why would you ever do that? I mean, what the mother? I think the mother should be investigated. What the hell were you feeding this kid? What the hell kind of crap were you pushing on this lost soul? All right, I want to forget about that stuff. I want to do something that I really feel good about. The freedom of Tina Peters in Colorado. This is a Gold Star mom. They threw the book at her because she had questions about the 2020 election, and she wanted to investigate. She was the county clerk. She wasn't nobody. You know what I mean? I think the county clerk can look at these things, can actually investigate. And let's see what happened here, okay? So she's on with Steve Bannon, who I'm a big fan of, by the way. I know he knows who I am, but we've never spoken. He's talked about me on air before in a positive way. I like him a lot, but we've never actually met. Hit this, please, if you don't mind. Tina Peters on that show.
Apollo, I guess that you have a special guest with you this morning?
We do. We do have a special guest, so I'll take this opportunity to announce that, yes, Tina Peters has been released successfully, and she is safe.
Hi, Steve.
Tina, tell us what's it like to be finally a free woman?
You know, Steve, I'm not even sure yet. After 606 days in prison, it's been quite the ordeal. But, I really want to thank God for his faithfulness and getting me through it. And, it's been, I think probably for me, Steve, to impress upon every person out there how hard it is to lose your liberty, how easy it is to lose your liberty, but how hard it is to endure it. And, and I'm so grateful to the supporters out there that have stood with me. My close circle, Marcy, my best friend, who I called every day. After they kept putting me in the hole, she made me promise to call her in the morning and at night every day. So people that wanted to get me a message could always reach her. And of course, with Apollo and Jared and Barbara and, the other ones that have stood by me, and especially my attorneys. John Case has visited me almost every week while I was in prison. And then the financial support. I still have a fight to go. I still, even though Governor Polis reduced my sentence from 9 years to 4.5 years, I still have a fight to clear my name and bring out the truth of why they came after me the way they did. So it's still a long road. I'm going to spend the next few weeks regaining my health and just being with loved ones and family. And it's a miracle. It really is for Jared Polis. He pardoned 35 people and he gave clemency to 9, and I was one of the 9. And you see the horrible media and the haters that don't go after murderers and people like that he chose to pardon, but they go after me. So there is a concern there for my well-being and my safety. But I'm just very, very grateful to all of you. Thank you, Steve, for standing through with me through all of this. And I just can't thank you enough. And of course, to
Tina, what we did was so easy.
Yeah, stop for a second. She's kind of throwing shade at Paulus. Hey, I take that. He didn't have to do it. All right. I mean, she seems to be. All right. So Tina Peters was elected clerk and recorder of Mesa County, Colorado. The allegations against her were not that she changed votes or directly altered the election results. Instead, prosecutors said she improperly allowed unauthorized people to access secure election equipment and data after the 2020 election as part of efforts to investigate claims of election fraud. The core allegation was that Peters helped an outside group gain access to a secure election system update process known as the Trusted Build. According to prosecutors, an individual named Conan Hayes was allowed into secure areas while using another person's identification badge. Authorities said election systems data and passwords were copied and distributed online. I'm sorry, but you're walking around the clerk's office of Mesa County, Colorado. It's not exactly Area 51 or the Pentagon. Lighten up, people. A Colorado jury ultimately convicted Peters on multiple counts, including offenses related to official misconduct, attempting to influence a public servant. Attempting to influence a public servant. I try to influence them all the time. What the hell? Is that a crime? Conspiracy? Violations of election security procedures? She was acquitted on some charges and convicted on others. Now, supporters of Peters argued she was trying to preserve evidence and expose potential election vulnerabilities or wrongdoing. Critics argued she abused her office and compromised election security systems without authorization. She was the elected clerk, for crying out loud. Those competing interpretations are at the center of why the case became nationally controversial. Well, look, I can't claim that I did a damn thing. I had Ricky Schroeder on a couple of times. Great guy. He advocated for her. There are only so many things you can kind of undertake and embrace. Hey, I wish I had done more, but it's wonderful that she's actually out. Good for her and good for us. Now I got to get my friend out of jail, my friend Bill Stevenson. Now, I just got something very interesting from my other friend, Joel Gilbert. Joel Gilbert is a great investigative journalist and filmmaker. He was on the show last week, and he submitted a Freedom of Information Act request from these people in Delaware. And about an hour later, he gets a multi-page response about how they can't do it. Dear Mr. Gilbert, Newcastle County has carefully reviewed your recent request for information made pursuant to the state of Delaware's Freedom of Information Act. You requested the following: all public records relating to the death investigation involving Linda M. Stevenson and William Bill Stevenson at the 1300 block of Idlewood Road, requesting initial incident report, offense report, investigative reports, supplemental reports, arrest reports, probable cause affidavits, crime scene reports, evidence logs and property records, search warrant applications, affidavits, warrants and returns, photographs, body-worn camera video and audio from all responding officers, dash cam video and audio, witness statements, detective reports, and case summaries, any public records showing the date and time of death determination. By the way, a lot of this stuff is standard. It would have been released even without a request. They write, while the Freedom of Information Act requires the disclosure of a broad range of documents, it is not without its limitations. We have reviewed both FOIA and the county's FOIA policy in light of the U.S. Supreme Court's recent decision in McBurney versus Young. It is vital in a democratic society that public business be performed in an open and public manner so that our citizens shall have the opportunity to observe the performance of public officials and to monitor the decisions that are made by such officials in formulating and executing public policy. Because your return address does not indicate that you are a citizen of the state of Delaware, you are not entitled to inspect and copy Newcastle County public records under FOIA. Everybody in Delaware was scared to make these requests, for crying out loud. While the Freedom of Information Act requires the disclosure of a broad range of documents, additionally, Delaware FOIA statute contains a number of exceptions to the definition of public record. Specifically, FOIA provides that the following records shall not be deemed public: investigatory files compiled for civil or criminal law enforcement purposes, criminal files and criminal records, the disclosure of which would constitute an invasion of personal privacy. The records you seek fall within these exemptions. No, they don't, actually. No, most of them don't. As such, the requested information is exempt from disclosure under FOIA. Accordingly, we must deny your request. That's a hell of a lot of paperwork. That's a hell of a lot of paperwork in very short order. He put the request in today. It's not even, he got it before lunchtime. Can you believe that stuff? 800-8489-222, 800-8489-222. And the only problem for my Bill Stevenson, he's surrounded by people down there. I'm tempted to tell you about somebody who I believe is acting against his best interests. I had it out with them over the phone this weekend. Somebody who claims to be a friend of Bill Stevenson, but I don't think they're friendly at all. And this is the person he's somewhat relying on. There's some good people, but also some rotten ones too. Be right back.
In this 25th anniversary year of September 11th, the Tunnel to Towers Foundation continues to honor America's heroes. Heroes like Fire Lieutenant Michael Wells, who was inspired by 9/11 to serve his community. After 14 dedicated years of service, he lost his battle with occupational cancer, leaving behind his wife, Katie, and their 3 children. Tunnel to Towers honored Lieutenant Wells by paying off the family's mortgage in recognition of his sacrifices. Donate $11 monthly and amplify your impact with a car or land donation. Go to T2T.org.
Greg Kelly
on the Red Apple Podcast Network.
Feet don't play the piano. Hands play the piano.
No. They don't know how to play a piano.
What does feet know how to play?
Yes.
She was playing with her feet. We got a little piano, and she was playing with her feet.
Sing a song.
No, she doesn't want to sing a song. She wants to play the piano with her feet, and you can't do that, especially when my wife is around. Did you see the stabbing? The stabbing in Atlanta? We have heartbreaking video and pictures. The great-grandmother who was butchered on the Atlanta MARTA train in a random attack. Oh, my God. It's I didn't realize she was a grandmother. 66 years old. She had her throat slashed and then was stabbed 18 to 20 times when she was ambushed by the madman who attacked her at random. Wow, 66-year-old woman stabbed 20 times on that Atlanta train, throat slit in random attack by homeless thug. Yikes. Ooh, little bit of drama at the office. I like it at CBS. Oh, right after giving that love-making interview to Jill Biden, these people deserve to be overhauled. New 60 Minutes boss Nick Bilton storms out of staff meeting after explosive clash with Scott Pelley. Hey, Scott, get over yourself, Scott. Everybody's got a boss. These people are so stuck on themselves over there at CBS. Who in the hell do they think they are? Seriously, this Walter Cronkite. Oh, Walter Cronkite. Well, Walter Cronkite wasn't all that either, you know. He really wasn't. He was totally biased. He leaned way, way left, so much so that he actively sought to become a United States Senator from New York as a Democrat. He was also on the take. He would take freebies up the yazoo. He would do all kinds of things that would get you in trouble today. Altering coverage based on, I think they called it payola, right? It was a little bit of payola, that Walter Cronkite. He also could be, I know there are some people who just disagree with me, but I actually saw him be rather nasty to somebody all the way back in the 1980s. 1989, something like that. Nick Bilton, a 49-year-old tech journalist who was just named the new boss of 60 Minutes in a major reshuffle, stormed out of a meeting with the storied news magazine staffers following a heated exchange with correspondent Scott Pelley. In a Monday morning meet and greet that went wrong, Pelley laced into Bilton, telling the new executive producer, who was handpicked last week to lead the show by CBS News editor-in-chief Barry Weiss, that nobody wants him there. Pelley likewise took aim at Weiss, slamming her management and mission for CBS News. You know what? I think you're the problem, Scott. Who in the hell do you think you are? This is the guy who actually went to the college and said, oh, we have to be afraid of what we say in America because of Trump. What a ham. Most of these TV news guys, hams. Shallow. Silly.
Greg Kelly, entertaining and informative
on the Red Apple Podcast Network.
Wow, talk about the kiss of death. Jane Fonda, Hanoi Jane, isn't she like 100 years old now? She just endorsed Karen Bass for re-election as mayor of Los Angeles. Now, that should be the kiss of death politically. You know, Jane Fonda is a clueless imbecile, just a terrible in every way. I mean, she colluded with the enemy to make our guys feel bad, and she has never apologized for it. I think she issued a couple of non-apology apologies, right? And, you know, gosh, it's one thing to be against the war, but she went over there to hang out with the North Vietnamese army and kind of participated in their abuse of U.S. POWs being slapped around and tortured. You know, she went along with that system. Now, it does make sense in a way that she's endorsing Karen Bass, who's a fellow terrorist. She worked with some sort of Marxist group that was going to Cuba all the time, and she was the brigade leader. So I think it's going to be, I mean, you know what? Lightning can strike. Hey, do we have that Spencer Pratt sound from before? Spencer Pratt could do this thing, man. He could do it. He could win. Remember that Chicago, Jesse Jackson? That whole thing about Jesse Jackson. Eddie Murphy did it. All right, you ready with this? Spencer Pratt. Did you know what that was happening, Jane Slippin? Dogs on the streets being hassled?
Not before Spencer Pratt started talking about it. And he said something like, okay, you guys are going to get 1 or 2 weeks to continue operating the way that you've been operating. And then it's over. He's going to give them like a warning period. And then the abuse of dogs ends. So I was thinking, oh, man, I didn't even know that was a thing.
So they have shelters, kill shelters over there, huh? Is that it?
I thought he was talking about like the way these homeless vagrants are somehow abusing dogs, but I guess maybe I misinterpreted.
I've always seen those dogs. I see them sometimes, and they look fine. They look, they look fine. The dogs with the homeless people.
Yeah.
And usually they seem to cheer the homeless people up. Not that I want them there, but the dog makes me feel somehow better about the situation. Hey, do me a favor. Are you fascinated by this Jill Biden thing, or is she old news now? Should I forget about it?
Well, it's absolutely disgusting when you think about the fact that for years she participated in this whole ruse about President Biden's mental faculties having no issue whatsoever. And then she wants to tell us, oh, I thought that he was having a stroke.
All right, so let's listen to it. All right, cut 31, if you don't mind. Jill Biden, Dr. Jill Biden, who is a nasty person. And if you listen closely, you can tell she's just not charming. She's not nice at all. And picture this. I did not know the scope of that house. That house is huge they have. It's like a palace. And it's right next to a great big fake lake. Imagine that. Imagine having your own lake. It's not a pond. It's a lake. They had, they dug the hole and they put the water in it. Cut 31, please.
Just 4 months after leaving office, President Biden was diagnosed with an aggressive form of stage 4 prostate cancer that had traveled to his bones.
Yes.
How's the president doing now?
He's doing well, but it was a shock. I mean, Rita, honestly, I can remember getting the diagnosis, and it was shocking.
Do you think that someone, when he was in the White House, should have discovered it, given him a test?
Well, the doctor said that according to the American Urological Association, that men over 70 don't need a PSA, a blood test anymore, because it's a slow-growing cancer. I have to say, Rita, I do feel we had amazing care in the White House, but somehow that was missed.
So you're a little bit tense when it comes to his health, huh?
I don't know if the word is tense, but I think I'm vigilant.
But there is another essential question that many Americans have about President Biden's mental health when he was in the White House. Did you ever see signs that he was falling into cognitive decline?
No.
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 Truly?
No.
I mean, I have spoken to many people who saw the president, especially during the last 2 years of his term, and they said they thought he was slipping.
Oh, he was definitely aging. I mean, we were all aging, Rita. I mean, so yes, he was slowing down.
I mean, people were saying he wasn't the same Joe Biden.
Well, I don't think that's true. He was the essence of the same Joe Biden, but yeah, he was slowing down. He was getting older. I mean, we all observed that. When it's a very intense job. I think it ages you quickly. Look at the other presidents. I mean, look, in comparison when they started in office and got out of office, and it was natural aging.
From the start of the administration,
natural aging.
Some polls were showing.
I think it's called Alzheimer's.
Were questioning the president's mental fitness. I asked you about it when I interviewed you, and you said there's nothing to it.
And I still say that.
And now, Dr. Jill Biden has written a book about her time in the White House. It's called View from the East Wing, a place where generations of first ladies had their offices and where visitors came for White House tours. It has now been destroyed by President Donald Trump to make way for a ballroom. So what do you think about that?
Oh, what do you think, Jill? What do you think? We're done talking about Joe at this point? We're done? That's it? You know how they're lying. This is a Joe trait as well. He thought it was powerful. It was these one-syllable answers. No. 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 I got to show you. Yeah, that's Joe did the same thing. I got to make a note of that for tonight. Hold on a second. Burn ballots and vandalized vote center investigated in Los Angeles. This is big, folks. On the eve of an election, Los Angeles County election officials are investigating incidents ahead of Tuesday's primary. A ballot drop box with fire-damaged mail ballots in a vandalized vote center in Long Beach. Officials said a limited number of vote-by-mail ballots appear to have sustained fire-related damage inside a downtown Los Angeles drop box. This is one of those things, by the way, that the early voting is going to help Spencer Pratt. Is Spencer Pratt actually running as a Republican? I don't know if he is. Yeah, he's not, right? So, but Spencer Pratt will be helped because there is a reluctance to be publicly for Spencer Pratt. And the people who will be voting for him are voting for him, a lot of them from home. That's going to be a thing. They're going to be voting, and that's the advantage for him. So we got to watch out for that. Are they going to try to steal it from him? Can't have that. Joe, hello. Line 1.
And we're like,
is he there? Hold on a second. All right, Mike, how are you?
Good, Greg. I've heard that imitation is the greatest. You feel so wonderful about people.
Form of flattery? Form of flattery?
Greatest form of flattery. I'm sorry, I lost it. But your Liz Cheney might be my favorite voice imitation ever. It makes me laugh every single time. Your President Trump clearly shows you admire the guy. It's actually very, very good, too, and it does make me laugh. And last but not least, your Curtis Sliwa imitation absolutely kills me.
Well, thank you. I can't even remember how I did Curtis. We don't talk about him much around here anymore after his betrayal of not only this station, but the city. You may have seen that he's thinking about running again. Yeah, why not? Why not? It's fun. Beats working, right, Curtis? People actually taking you seriously for they're actually using you. They don't take you seriously. They're using you to make it look like a contest when it is no contest. But I got to tell you, thank you for that. I'm working on, I think, quite frankly, I should have 10 impressions under my belt. I'm working on 10 different impressions, including some of the ones you just mentioned, except Curtis, and I'll be unveiling them at a future date because I realize I'm actually pretty good at it. Not great, but pretty good. I used to do it in school. I did it in the Marine Corps a lot. And when I do it, it's not meant to, sometimes it's mockery and sometimes it's celebration. Like President Trump. Greg, you got to blow your own horn sometimes. It's true. It's true. All that stuff is true. Thank you very much, Mike. Let's try Tom real quick in Connecticut.
Greg.
Yeah.
Hi. First time call, long time listener. I just wanted to give you a clarification. You talked about Tom Steyer. How did he make all his money? Well, Tom Steyer it was the founder of Farallon Partners, a San Francisco-based distressed debt private equity investor, made billions and billions of dollars buying broken companies at the bottom of the ocean, and had a tremendous amount of success. Smart guy, knows his business, but he is a full-on card-carrying member of the elite radical left ideology in San Francisco. It goes Pelosi, Newsom, Steyer. In order.
Yeah, because he's got his money, and now he can indulge in that kind of recreation. Hey, I don't blame anybody for taking a distressed company and turning it around. Do you?
No, I think he was extremely talented, very well respected. It's just his politics have gotten him off track. So,
yeah, and now that he has his, he can try to take everybody else's money. All right, thank you for pointing that out. I did not know. I'll try one more. Sal is calling. Hello.
Hey, Greg, why don't you interview Bill Stevens' daughter and then find out how the woman actually died?
Well, Bill Stevenson doesn't have a daughter. He has a stepdaughter, which I know is the same thing as having a daughter, but the stepdaughter does not like Bill Stevenson. Who knows what the dispute is, Stepdaughters, stepfathers, sometimes that can be a little bit tense. So she doesn't like him. She has said very nasty things about him. I heard over the weekend that she had the locks changed on his own house, which seems to be illegal because she doesn't own that house. So I won't be talking to her. Understand?
Well, why don't you just try to find out from neighbors?
I'm doing everything I can to find out. What are the neighbors going to know? Look, I'm on this case. My friend Joel Gilbert, Garrett Ziegler, we're trying to get the records. We're pushing it. I'm making noise. I'm doing what I can, which is a lot, quite frankly. And I'm not going to go down there and start knocking on neighbors' doors. I can't do that. I mean, to what end is that? You know, for a good story, at this point, you know, people, I'm not even pursuing this as a journalist. I'm pursuing this as a friend. You know, I'm pursuing it as a friend, and I want to make sure all of his rights are being respected and upheld, and I do fear he's getting railroaded. And how about that? She goes on national television, Dr. Jill Biden, yesterday, and they don't ask one question about her ex-husband who's in jail right now, who's a political enemy of the Bidens. You know, I mean, that's like Russia, man. That's Soviet Union crap from 1980. It's insane. Sal, I appreciate. Any other recommendations? Seriously, I don't like those so far. I can't do any of those, but you got another one?
Well, we still don't know. Did she have a heart attack out of fright, or was she stabbed? How do we know how she died?
Well, we don't know much of anything, but we did hear that there was no obvious trauma. We don't have the autopsy report. We don't have anything from the cops. And I just read that letter from the county down there. They wrote my friend Joel Gilbert, like, don't bother us. We don't know you a damn thing. And they wrote this letter, this very formal letter, 80 minutes after they got his request. So it's very suspicious. I appreciate it, Sal. We are not going to forget about Bill Stevenson, and we'll be right back.
Greg Kelly, entertaining and informative
on the Red Apple Podcast Network.
60 Minutes. Will you watch it anymore? I haven't watched it. I don't think I've watched it at 7 o'clock at night or 7:30 or whenever the hell it comes on after football. I don't know, since I was in high school, maybe. I don't think I've ever. Now, my dad, they did a great episode on him in 2014, 13, something like that. It was a really great piece. And then again, they tried to murder him in another piece back when he was the customs commissioner. My dad did something very interesting. Ed Bradley was the correspondent. There was no story. They were convinced that customs called off an investigation because of pressure from the Mexican government on the Clinton White House. That was the story. And that was a scandal. But it wasn't true. And but they went with it anyway. And my dad is there saying it's not true. You know what he did, though, is very interesting. They set up a camera, my father did, with his team at the Customs Department. They have a whole, what do you call those? AV squad. They had the AV squad. And they set up the camera to watch the interview. They took a video of the video. The cameras were interviewing my father, and they set up another camera taking video of the cameras and Ed Bradley interviewing my father. So they had a complete record, because that's what they do. They slice and dice, and they have all kinds of games. So for me, it's got a mixed situation there, 60 Minutes. So what happened was, this Barry Weiss is now running the show over there. She's an outsider. She was picked by the Ellison family to run it, to blow it up, because it's fake news. And it is fake news. It's very damaged. And they're sluggish, and they're terrible in the ratings, but they're a bunch of snobs, too. They're so convinced that they're better than everybody else, and they're not. They're not. They're ordinary, right? And they're just so stuck on themselves. So what happened was, they had a new meeting with the new boss of 60 Minutes. Barry Weiss made this guy the head. His name is Nick. And Nick is brought in. So CBS faced let's see, how did this all go down? He goes in there. They just fired the executive producer and a couple of the correspondents. Hey, that happens in TV. That happens in TV. You don't have to go hold a press conference about it. You wanted to work forever? Go get a job in the swamp. Go join the IRS until Trump shows up. So the meeting got very tense, they say. Now, what happened was, Mr. Bilton, the new guy, gets in there and he's like, for me, the journalism is the journalism. That's why I'm here. That is why we are all here. The rumors people are spreading that I'm going to turn the show into 61-minute episodes, that it's going to be like TikTok, that is not changing. The show is going to stay exactly like it is for now. He also warned that the broadcast television industry has incubated 60 Minutes would soon be obsolete. Broadcast is an ice cube that is melting, okay? Mr. Bilton said. Somebody was taping this, by the way, and gave it to the New York Times. saying the show had to adapt. Barry loves this institution. She loves 60 Minutes. And then Scott Pelley, who talks like this, interrupts. She is murdering 60 Minutes. She does not love this place. She was brought in to kill it, and she's doing exactly that. Mr. Pelley added, she has no qualifications for her job. You have slender qualifications for this job. The changes that she's made at the evening news have been catastrophic. So why should we expect that any of this is going to be better? Now, Scott Pelley has always had it out for management. You know, he was the anchor of the evening news, and they got rid of him for the other guy. And he was upset about that, and he went and bitched and moaned publicly about management. I'm starting to think that maybe you were the problem there, Scott Pelley, you pompous fool. Lighten up. Lighten the hell up. You know? You don't get a boss? Are you so special? 60 Minutes. We don't have bosses. We have temporary custodians who come and no. You have a boss. Man, I should go over there and fire that guy. I wouldn't care. No conversation. Everybody here is gone. Period. Go to HR. Security is waiting for you. I don't know. Sometimes some of these town hall meetings, too much give and take, too much give and take, too much give and take. You got to treat it a little bit like the military. 1, I do. 2, I'm the boss. Right, Ralph Cramden? All right. Got to get the hell out of here. I'll see you later. All the best. Happy summer. June 1st. Feels good.
Thanks for listening to The Greg Kelly Show. You can hear The Greg Kelly Show weekdays at 12:15 on 77 WABC. If you like the podcast, share it with your friends and listen anytime at WABCRadio.com and download the WABC Radio app. Hit that subscribe button on all major podcast platforms. Plus, follow WABC on social on Instagram, TikTok, Facebook, and X. See you next time for a new episode so you never have to wonder.
What the heck is going on here?
Roger Stone here. Your dollars are losing ground, but gold isn't. American Sovereign Bullion helps you protect your wealth through real, tangible assets. Through their nationwide wholesaler network, you get some of the best pricing on gold and silver delivered straight to your door. Since 1912, the U.S. dollar has lost 97% of its purchasing power. Meanwhile, gold continues to prove its strength. So call 844-272-2428. That's 844-272-2428. Or visit DyingDollar.com to request your free gold and silver guide. That's DyingDollar.com.